Right before we bought our home, my wife admitted she spent a night with her ex-boyfriend and also later revealed that there was no protection. Welcome back to They Did What? Your source for the internet's craziest, most entertaining stories where I go over them, analyze them, and most certainly make fun of them. Today, I'm going to go over a story titled, My Wife of 6 Years Had a 6-month-long affair with her ex and destroyed our relationship. And guys, this story is all about a guy. He's been married to his wife for, sounds like about 6 years. He's 33. And you're going to see, guys, pretty much from the get-go, he, at least emotionally and eventually physically, put her on the pedestal, which you never should do. Also, you're going to see, guys, pretty much from the get-go of the relationship, they had an open relationship, which then turned into an open marriage. And as you can imagine, doesn't go very well. And he didn't want to do this, but went along with it because he obviously wanted to make her happy, didn't want to lose her, that type of situation. To no surprise, she wasn't exactly a very good wife, as you obviously can imagine. And ultimately leads to a whole lot of bad things going on. However, this guy does eventually have the last laugh because it obviously doesn't work out. And you're going to see as this story goes on how things go in terms of the divorce, alimony, money, and all that. And at the end of the day, these gals that do these things, they're not always exactly thinking straight. Or they think they're going to have it made anyway, no matter what, because the system has their back. Well, in this situation, well, you'll see the guy will definitely have the last laugh. And also, guys, this story first posted about 8 months ago, I think. And then it had a small update. And then the most recent update with him obviously coming out on top is recent, like within days. And a shout out to a couple guys who sent me this story. So I'm going to go over it a little longer, but I figured you guys want to have this all in one video, so that way you don't have to wonder what happens next. So, starts off, he says, what a crazy train ride it has been. I'm 33 years old and currently going through a painful divorce and thought I should share my story to help process the numbness and loss I feel and evaluate how this train wreck occurred. Me and my wife were co-workers for a time 9 years ago. From the time we met, we were extremely attracted to each other. Sparks flew and we hit it off immediately. I dated around a good amount in my younger 20s, but there was something different with her that made me feel safe and happy. Safe and happy, huh? Let's remember this part about the whole safe and happy thing. After several years of dating and living with each other, we decided to get married. I remember even at the time I proposed, it didn't feel right. We had an open relationship mostly because she wanted that lifestyle, and unfortunately, I went along for the ride. Never marry in a polyamorous relationship. Yeah, well, smack for going and doing that thing that you didn't want to do. This is the gal that's going to be your wife, and you are going along with this bullshit. Don't get involved with it. Unless you are into that lifestyle completely, no guy should ever get in a relationship with a gal or stay in a relationship if she wants that. Because trust me, she's incapable of being with just you. And there's going to be bullshit from the get-go. Things definitely started shifting right after our marriage. Bait and switch wife, huh? With our open marriage, we set the boundaries that we'd only have fun with mutual friends and talk about agreements beforehand. Right before we bought our first home, my wife admitted that she spent the night with her ex-boyfriend and also later revealed there was no protection. Talk about awful here. Guess what? I don't know how far into the marriage it was. It wasn't very long. Maybe this is time for an annulment. I'm not sure how long you can be married until those annulments don't work. I don't really know the whole thing, to be honest with you. But something needs to be done here. This is not someone you can trust. Boom, immediately, they're married. Got a house. And she mentioned she hooked up with an ex. Obviously, exes are probably on the no-no list, right? And without protection, look at the danger she's putting him into. I was devastated. That's where all the trust evaporated overnight, and even though I still loved her, smack, I didn't feel respected anymore. I decided to put the house solely in my name. We bought the house when we were married, but this comes later into play down with the divorce proceeding. Well, thank God he had the brains to put the house in his name. I don't know how she went along with this, but hey, okay. I continued to progress in my career and being the breadwinner and thought my wife was happy. Slowly but surely, the bedroom fund started to feel like a chore and could tell she was checking out. I should also mention my wife had a very high body count of men previous to our relationship. Gee, you think? Whatever number this guy was given from her, I guarantee you is a fraction of what it really was. And what do you expect with a gal who does open relationships? Come on. But this happens when guys don't know any better, don't have this type of knowledge, don't have this experience. 2 years ago, right after the pandemic started, she pulled the rug from under me and let me know she wanted to break away from me and she wasn't afraid of providing for herself. Sounds like she found euphemism. She hired a spiritual coach and thought she could replicate that same amount of success right away. Fast forward to today, and she's still struggling to launch her coaching business. Yeah, being an independent isn't so easy, right, hun? Also, doesn't it feel very good with all the demasculation and treating me like garbage as I continue to financially support her? This guy should have ended it with her the second he found out about her hooking up with the ex before they bought the house and not using protection, for God's sakes. Or better yet, not getting involved with her at all. But notice that she wants to be a lifestyle coach or whatever the hell you want to call it, a life coach. With who? With what? I'm sure you guys have seen people on Instagram that are these so-called life coaches, and they have like 19 followers. Like you need to establish yourself, and then you can and show you have some skills and knowledge. Then you can be a life coach, if you will, but not just I'm going to be a life coach one day. There's a girl I'm acquainted with who's done that, and guess what? It's not working. She deployed a lot of emotional manipulation to have me still provide and pay for her lifestyle. She convinced me to sleep in separate bedrooms. I did it to give her the space that she needed, and I really should have kicked her out of the house at that point. You think? This guy has many smackable moments in here, and obviously he's aware of this in present day, his mistakes he made, but good Lord. About a year ago, she reconnected with that ex-boyfriend she had the affair with. To add on to the misery, I was already feeling she decided to commit into a relationship with him, even with us still married. And you allowed it, dude. This is the problem when the guy is more into the relationship than she is. Whoever cares the least about the relationship has the power. It is the ugly truth, but it is the truth. Looking back, I feel completely disgusted with myself for not standing up for myself back then and continuing to allow it. Hey, he's learned. That's good. She would often offer me affection and intimacy here and there to keep me ignorant of any of my dignity or self-respect, so I played along to earn any form of closeness with her. I was completely addicted and made her my world. Smack. Nice guy central. You never make your girl your world, because believe me, you make her your world, you ain't going to be her world. The guy that doesn't give a shit about her, Chad or Tyrone, she'll make them her world. And by the way, guys, I'm sure you can hear the pouring rain at this point. I got to get these videos done today, so, I know some of you guys like to hear the rain. You find it soothing. Others, you find it annoying, so I'm just doing my best here. I'll talk louder if you can have a hard time hearing. The turning point was last spring after I took her to Hawaii for a week. It was my ultimate Hail Mary to win her back. Smack. Why do you need to win her back? She needs to win you back. That's more nice guy shit that backfires. We even did a couple's photo shoot professionally done and had a really great time together. However, I could tell she was still invested in her affair partner. Not even a day goes by, we get back from the trip, and she missed her affair partner. Again, I felt absolutely devastated that she would so easily cast away the time and energy we had just spent together. This is where I started to finally regain my dignity. I decided to play up my image and try to walk away as unscathed as I could and divorce her. Hallelujah! Hallelujah! It's about freaking time, brother. Not surprisingly, she and her boyfriend decided to move in together last summer. This is when I brought up with my wife that I wanted an uncontested divorce. She was ripe with feelings for her affair partner, so when I wrote out the stipulation, I'd receive the full equity on the house, my bank accounts, and retirement accounts, and she agreed. She agreed? Great. It's usually the opposite. But she saw me so into this dude, into the whole romance story, that she's not even thinking about the bigger picture with the money. And she also thinks that she can have a great career as a life coach and she won't need this man's money. I gave her a week to decide after another weekend of vacationing with her affair partner, and she signed the stipulation in front of a notary, and I filed it the same day. She ended up going out to the bar that night with her affair partner, getting all dolled up and spending another intimate encounter with him, I guess, in celebration. Yeah, I surely felt like a valued husband. That sucks. I feel bad for this guy. We can all agree he brought this on himself, and he obviously knows this looking back. and hope he's learned a lot of lessons here. But good Lord, so many guys have to go through so much disrespect and pain until they finally see things as they are. But don't worry, justice is served. 3 weeks after my wife wasn't able to get housing with her affair partner as originally planned. Now understanding her predicament, she filed a motion with the courts to dismiss our stipulation and go to mediation. Shocker. I then lawyered up, and we have had several hearings with the courts. My wife never hired an attorney. I believe she thought her spiritual leanings told her that she didn't need any of that. Oh, okay. What a great idea. Well, it turns out she lost her case and tried filing an erroneous second motion with her newly hired attorney and lost that too a few weeks ago. Now she's filed an objection to be heard by the judge. My lawyers are very confident the objection will also be denied and the final divorce papers can then be signed. I've racked up over $10,000 of legal fees, but my wife also has a lot of fees too, and may even be able to ask for my fees to be paid if I win, but I will most likely elect to pay my own anyway. Screw that. If she can pay for your fees, I'd let her pay for the fees. Look at everything you've done for her over the years with no return. Now, as a little update, he says here, I also should add in the second motion she filed with her attorney, she made up lies about me coercing her and lying to her. Things like I told her not to hiring a lawyer because it was too expensive. The commissioner saw right through that BS and denied her and hoped the judge does too. When my lawyer read through the motion with me, he said there was no chance of reconciliation. Also, the hearing before the judge got scheduled for April 5th. The finish line is so close now. He's just counting the days and the minutes till this whole thing's finally wrapped up and he can move on with his life. He says, writing this all out seems to almost be too absurd to be true. I'm trying to survive the present the best I can, staying focused in my career and trying to enjoy playing the piano and my other hobbies to not think about all this. It doesn't help that my wife gives me glimpses of wanting me back, but the past is just too painful for reconciliation. Of course she wants you back because she realizes now she can't pay the freaking bills. She doesn't have much coming in. I know I can find another partner that loves me and respects me, but for the present moment, I feel paralyzed and heartbroken over this journey. You'll get over it, brother, you will. Don't go racing into another relationship. Ultimately, I just want to move on with my life, and maybe I'll laugh at all this looking back one day. The universe has an interesting way of unfolding. Hope that karma works as designed. Any suggestions like getting her out of the home? I feel like I can't kick her out legally unless we're officially divorced. She has mentioned to me many times she fears of me kicking her out. At the same time, she tells me she has other living arrangements planned, but nothing has ever materialized. Well, he may not be able to get her out right away, but the second they're divorced, I'm sure obviously he can. And now on to the final update where justice is served and he's walking away happier. He says here, hard to believe it's been 6 months already. I'm happy to report that I'm officially divorced and starting to live my best life now. Awesome. Congratulations, brother. She's toast. I still have moments of pain and loneliness hit me in waves, thinking about the old versions of what we used to be, but overall I'm starting to move past it. Good, bro. You take it day by day. That's all you can do. And keep in mind, you love who you thought she was. Okay? You had the rose-colored glasses on, or whatever the hell you want to call it. You saw her for what you thought she was. Okay? She obviously was somebody different. So don't feel, a lot of guys, that's happened to them, but you learn from it. And you be more careful in the future. He says, one of the realizations that really helped me is truly accepting she did not care about me the way I thought she did. She had her own level of delusions, but mine was being stuck on the idea that the chemistry and bond we had early on in the relationship was love. How could she have loved and truly cared with the level of disrespect given to me? Exactly. She didn't love you. And the whole open relationship thing, she was incapable of having that type of relationship with anybody. Even her chatter Tyrone bad boy lover. I gave her everything financially, let her have full control of what to do in the home, and yet she resents me for doing just that. Smack. Well, that's what you get for letting her have full control financially and full control of everything in the house. You never do that, okay? That makes a gal lose respect for you. And the fact that I took her on vacation to Hawaii and she tricks me into thinking we were reconnecting just for her to be with her ex a few days later. F that. Back in April, we were supposed to have our hearing with the judge on her objection to the stipulation, and her lawyers ended up delaying until June. At that point, I just wanted to move on even though I had an unlosable case. So I ended up settling the case and giving her alimony for just 1 year and $15,000 cash settlement. He says here in parentheses, I kept the house, bank accounts, retirement accounts, which is $300,000 in value. It was also stipulated that she had to move out of the home once the divorce was finalized in June. Good. He was concerned about her getting her ass out of the house. A part of me kind of wishes she would have left with absolutely nothing for what she did. It is nice that it's completely over with now and ended much better than the typical cash and prizes that women get these days. He got away pretty easy. Okay, sure, she should honestly have to pay him, let's be honest here, but that's not going to work this way. But if getting rid of her cost him 15 grand in cash, which to him obviously wasn't the end of the world, obviously he's got some money, and paying alimony for just 1 year, okay, it sucks, but it could have been way worse. She could have gotten the house. She could have gotten half of that $300,000 retirement, as well as other money in the accounts and assets and all that. So, and by the way, he did this on purpose to just rush things through, just to speed things up so he can be divorced with her. And you know darn well her lawyers dragged things out, probably hoping for that, but it is what it is. Now he can move on. He says, now listen to this. She ended up going back to the same ex-boyfriend, no surprises there. That eats away at me at times, but also I just feel so disgusted by her. Her ex has no job, no capability to earn money anytime soon, since he has severe spinal injury. She told me a few months back that she had some spiritual readings, that we were meant to be with each other. We weren't meant to be with each other anymore because there's too much pain on my side. Right. So her Chad Tyrone lover doesn't have a job. Shocker. He says, I also got a new finance job in June that pushes me up to the 6-figure range, and she absolutely hated it when I told her about that. Ha ha. One of the last things I told her was I hope she feels good throwing it all away. Once the alimony dries up and she sees her route of being a spiritual life coach won't work out, we'll see how happy she actually is. If she comes knocking down my door, I most certainly won't be accepting her back ever. I'm deserving a beautiful, loving relationship, and this is the lesson I need to learn to appreciate what a good, nurturing relationship actually can be. Hope my story is helpful to anyone that feels they're struggling breaking away. Well, to this guy, I don't know if I'll ever see this, but I wish him the absolute best. He made a lot of mistakes. Typical nice guy shit. And I hope, like Allie, he learns from that, doesn't do that again. No putting the girl on the pedestal. No making her the center of your world. Not doing everything you can for her, sacrificing your own happiness. Not putting her in charge of the house. Not putting her in charge of the finances. And by the way, it didn't sound like she ever had a job during all this, so she needs to work too and contribute. But, don't go in any relationship that has an open relationship. That was a very stupid thing to do. But he was young. And the end of the story, these guys don't get is that there are plenty of women out there. Sadly, nowadays, most are, well, let's be honest, shit. But there still are a small percentage that actually have some freaking values and integrity. It's getting less and less by the day, but they're out there. But this guy's got to work on himself. No rushing into relationships. Get his shit together. In the meantime, focus on his career. He's obviously moving up in his company, so keep on moving up. Moving up in a better position, making more money, putting it away, investing it, growing it. He'll be okay. Go to the gym, hang out with your bros, spend time with family, educate yourself, keep on that grind. He'll be okay. Just be careful. No rushing future relationships with women. So guys, a lot of lessons in this story, but at the end, this guy made out pretty well because in a year, when that alimony dries up, because he only has to do it for 1 year, her ass is going to be broke. Because good luck with her spiritual advisor business then. But if she's good looking, she'll just find some other poor sucker to shack up with. That's probably what's going to happen. And she may even go after this guy one more time looking for a second chance. And I'm pretty much sure he will not give her a second chance. So good luck to this guy. Alright guys, that was it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me just think about this. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.